All right, Shalom. First, let's start by saying all praise to Yahweh, Bashem Shai, Bashem Kakadash, double honors to the elders and apostles that were well, and salutations to the brothers that's doing the truth and sincerity. As you can see, this is Israeli attack kills at least 14 in central Syria, state media. So I'm going to press play and then add some precepts.
Israeli airstrikes have killed 14 people in northwestern Syria, according to Syrian state media. The attacks targeted a scientific research center and defense laboratories in and around the city of Masyaf. Several people have been injured. Some of them are reported to be in critical condition. Let's cross to Zaina Hodor, covering this from Beirut. Zaina, what more do you know about this attack? What can you tell us?
Syria's state media is describing these strikes as the most violent and extensive in years. Syria is blaming Israel for these overnight strikes that targeted multiple locations in two governorates in central Syria, Tartus and Hama. Among the targets, like you mentioned, the Masyaf Scientific and Research Center. It's not the first time that center has been hit in recent years. Now, Israel does not usually comment on individual strikes, but it has acknowledged carrying out hundreds of strikes in Syria with the aim or goal to really degrade the capabilities of Iran and its allies in Syria, to stop, for example, the supply route, the weapons supply route from Iran, Iraq, Syria to Lebanon. So what really we've been seeing in recent months, and really since October, we've seen these attacks become more frequent, is that Israel targets warehouses, arms depots, even airports when they believe that a shipment has arrived, all to ensure that Iran does not entrench itself militarily in Syria and it's not able to open a new front against Israel from the Syria border. So this is a strategy that Israel has used for years now, and it seems that it is employing it in Lebanon as well.
Okay, you're looking at the Israeli military activities and strikes in Syria, but of course also where you are in Lebanon, and there's increased activity in the southern part of the country.
No doubt, they're employing the same strategy. Here, the aim is to degrade Hezbollah. What we've seen in recent days is an uptick in violence after a relative period of calm. Really, this border, what we've been seeing since October, is sporadic escalation. So an uptick in violence. Hezbollah increasing the number of rockets that it is firing across the border in response to Israel's intensification of strikes close to the border. So this tit for tat. But Hezbollah focusing on towns, damaging a lot of homes in this 5-kilometer deep radius along the border, areas which have been largely evacuated from civilians. Israel, in its strikes, really has been focusing on targeting Hezbollah's military assets. So despite this uptick in violence, both sides still sticking to the unwritten rules of engagement to focus on military targets. Even though we're hearing a lot of rhetoric from the Israelis, the Israeli Prime Minister saying that the situation needs to change. He instructed the army, the security forces to prepare for change along the border. But both sides are showing that they're still calibrating their attacks to avoid a larger war, especially since Israel doesn't seem to have the U.S. backing, at least until the U.S. elections in November.
Zaina Hodor reporting from Beirut. Thank you very much. That's all very useful context. And I'm going to put all of that now to Hassan Barari, Professor of International Affairs at Qatar University. So we're looking at these two fronts, Syria and Lebanon. When you hear Israeli officials speak, they'll say that they're fighting 6 or 7 different fronts, right? The one that is probably the most difficult to understand and get accurate reporting on is what's going on in Syria. Strikes like the one we just saw, 14 people reportedly killed, and we don't really know what Israel is doing there, not in a precise way.
Well, this is not the first time, as you know. I mean, Israel has been raiding Syria over the last 20, 25 years. Even it predated October 7th, and particularly after the onset of the Arab uprisings. The Israelis have one objective there, is to prevent the Iranians from consolidating their position in Syria. So the positioning of Iranian forces are actually a threat to Israel from their own perspective. So they've been targeting them anywhere, and they're killing all their leaders. There's one thing also conditioned Israeli behavior vis-a-vis the Syrians, that the Syria is not in control of Syria. So every time there's a kind of transfer of weapon to Hezbollah, this would affect the balance of power. So the Israelis think that the best way is to preempt that by attacking these convoys, military installations, Iranian officials. They've been doing this. This is their own strategy. It's actually a kind of a preventive measure in order not to allow Hezbollah to mount an offense that would probably bring Israel to its knees.
And there's very little accountability for this, right? Because nobody is actually denouncing this. You said the Syrian authorities are not saying anything publicly about this, or hardly. The media reporting is not super accurate. It's difficult to get access to the places where these strikes are happening and to get great information, up-to-date information. So the Israelis and everyone else who's operating in Syria, by the way, can pretty much get away with doing what they want in Syria.
Yes.
As long as it's in Syria, they can get away with it.
Yeah, there's a kind of controlled anarchy in Syria. We don't have really a government that is in control of the situation in Syria. And we have the Syrians who are not saying the truth, and we have the Israelis who are always keeping silent. Because they don't want to disclose what they've been doing in Syria.
But do we have an idea of who's achieving what then? Like, is Israel...
Right. So let's look to see who the Syrian president is really fast. The president of Syria, officially the president of the Syrian Arab Republic, is the head of state of the Syrian Arab Republic. They are vested with sweeping powers. They may be delegated at their sole discretion to their vice presidents. They appoint and dismiss the prime minister and other members of the council of ministers, the cabinet, the military officers. Bashar al-Assad is the 19th and current president of Syria. He entered the post of 17th July 2000. Bashar al-Assad is the son of former President Hafez al-Assad, who was the longest serving president, serving 29 years, president of Syria Arab Republic. Now we know, if you've been watching, that Syria has ties with Russia. The Syrian president has ties with the Russian president. So as far as everything that they're saying, that the Syrian government really doesn't have any control, that can be true, because there's been a lot of wars and things going on within those areas. But the Russians are going to back Syria if it get too out of hand, man. They've showed that in the past. But
Hello, Moto.
Slovakia. So yeah, the Russians are going to back the Syrians. So as far as everything else, that'd be something good to look into, to brush up on that information, for brothers, because it's just a lot going on. But I'm gonna start with this precept. This is hold on, bear with me, because the Israelis, who they call the so-called Jews, that's who they believe to be who the world believes to be the biblical Jews, are not the biblical Jews. They are the Edomites according to the Bible. And everything they're doing is within their the spirit that the Lord gave them. The Lord gave them the spirit to be the devil. Esau, the Edomites, they are not the true biblical Israelites. The Israelites represents the blacks, Latins, and Native Americans, and there's 12 tribes, not just the tribe of Judah, which they claim to be from. So. But they're using their blessing. They're using their blessing to bring about the battle of Armageddon. They said the least of the flock shall draw them out. They out there, they're over there starting all type of proxy wars and within those countries, them Arab nations, except Iran. Iran is a Elamite nation, East Indian nation, but they eventually gonna join forces to come against Israel. So, let's start with this precept. This is Revelations chapter 6, verse 4. It says, I'm going to start verse 3. And when he had opened the second seal, I heard the second beast say, "Come and see." And there went out another horse that was red. That red horse represents Esau, man. And power was given to him that sat thereon to take peace from the earth. And that's what you see when you see all these wars going on by who's established by who? The devil, the Edomites, the so-called white man. And that they should, it says, that they should kill one another, and there was given unto him a great sword. His sword is military might, military power, man. You know, the ultimate weapon that he has in this arsenal that the Lord gave him is the nuclear missile, man. But the Lord gave him that sword to take peace from the earth. Yeah, he always bullied people with that sword. He's still bullying people with the sword, but everybody has that same sword now. Everybody who he's into it, just about everybody who he's into it has that same weapon of mass destruction, which the Lord is going, when he come back, control it and use it to shoot missiles upon him and his established governments, man. Various of his established governments, like the land of Israel, will be destroyed. The land of America will be destroyed. But Israel is going to be built back up in the kingdom of heaven. America will not. Various other countries are going to be hit by them thermonuclear missiles, man. You know, so this was all really just set up by the Lord to do, for prophecy's sake. You know, so that Israel will learn right and wrong. You know, the Lord got his reasons behind doing this. But we are at the end. We are at the end. So this next precept is Habakkuk chapter 2, verse 5. It says, yea, also because he transgresseth by wine, he is a proud man, neither keepeth at home, who enlargeth his desire as hell, and is as death, and cannot be satisfied. Right, that's Esau's spirit, man. He is as death. He's always killing somebody. There's been so many people died. You think that they damn near wiped the population out over there with all the death that's going on, man. But that's the spirit of the devil. If he was left to do his own will, you know, he'd kill everyone, even himself, man. You know, this is Ecclesiastes. See, the Lord not going to leave this devil to do what, and this devil not doing whatever he want to do. He's doing everything according to the will of Yahweh Shemel Shai. So technically, there's really no free will. The scriptures say man's goings are of the Lord. You know, for those who believe in free will, the Lord is really orchestrating everything. This is Ecclesiastes chapter 3, verse 1. To everything there is a season and a time to every purpose under the heaven, right? So the time and the season for everything. A time to be born and a time to die. A time to plant and a time to pluck up that which is planted. You see everybody is dying. People being born. A time to kill and a time to heal. A time to break down and a time to build up. Right. So all this death and stuff going on. I'm going to jump. A time to love and a time to hate, a time of war and a time of peace. And this is verse 8. Let me read it again. A time to love and a time to hate, a time of war and a time of peace. We are in a time of war. We're no longer in a time of peace, man. You know. That's the reason why so many battles and proxy wars going on in the Middle East. The time to kill. You see so much death going on all over the world. All over the world, not just over there in the Middle East. The Lord changed the times for a reason. Because the kingdom of heaven is next. You know, but the kingdom of heaven is established so that the Israelites can rule, you know, starting with the 1/3 elect. But this is Psalms chapter 68, verse 20. He that is our God is the God of salvation, and unto the Most High the Lord belongeth the issues from death. Right, so ultimately the Lord is controlling who's being put to death in these cities. these 14 individuals that died in Syria. Some might be Israelites, some might not be, but it's all controlled and orchestrated by Yahweh Shemal Shai. So, I didn't want to make this too long. With that being said, call Allah Yahweh Shemal Shai. Give my honors to the elders and the apostles that we will. And salutations to the brothers that's doing the truth and sincerity. Shalom.